Now, let me invite to the studio one of our customers, TomTom, who are on the edge of using AI in their applications. I would like to welcome Massimiliano Ungheretti to our studio. Massimiliano, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My short name is Massi, and I'm a staff data scientist at TomTom, where I work on data and machine learning for different product areas, including, for instance, the search engine that actually runs in many cars. But the past year and a bit have been all about generative AI for me. So we've been identifying different opportunities to apply different techniques coming out. And I'm particularly proud of the work we've done on the latest advances for voice assistants for use in cars.
That's awesome. It's really great to have you. Massimiliano, you guys were on the edge of, and you adapted AI very early. Could you tell us a little more about the use case where you use AI and Cosmos DB together for your application?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the in-vehicle assistant I was talking about. This assistant lives in the cloud in the first instance, and we obviously needed some kind of database solution to get started. And so Azure Cosmos DB was kind of the go-to solution. To make it much more concrete, we've been, using the Python SDK because that was our prototype Python to interact with the NoSQL database. And primarily, the very foundation of any kind of assistant or chatbot is the conversation history, because otherwise we'd be like a goldfish. So that's the first place that it hit. But we've started storing other things in there as we went along. So in that way, it kind of also supported the prototyping process.
That's awesome. And what's the capability? You had a choice of many databases. What capabilities of Cosmos DB you found particularly useful for your scenario?
Yeah, so I learned from previous projects that, taking off-the-shelf managed services is a great starting point, usually. And so we started exploring them. But basically, most of the candidates that we ended up with were, flavors of Cosmos DB. So that basically became the choice. I think the major alternative would be to go for a SQL database, where I think you will have to think of all your data structures beforehand, and it slows you down, even if it's just a little bit. You can try, immediately to change your data structures on the fly if you're using a NoSQL database. So that kind of made the final decision, I think.
That makes sense. I've heard this from many developers building AI applications that said to make an application smart, you have to iterate fast. And to iterate fast, NoSQL database, they were kind of built for this purpose.
Yeah, I think this is especially important when developing for AI because it moves much faster, right? So if you're doing well, you're going to be trying out ideas from lots of different papers and blogs all the time. And, one less bottleneck to try out things is always great.
That makes a lot of sense. What did you learn through your journey? I think this would be a great lessons for our viewers as they're all on the same journey as you.
Yeah, so I'll touch on that on our session. But what I find personally most exciting is that generative AI is kind of opening up a new, and this sounds a bit pompous, but a kind of a new programming paradigm. Yeah, so you move some things from code to language, which changes everything about how you develop. So I would say, for instance, testing, even basic testing becomes different because you have non-deterministic behavior in models. What's a good answer, right? So you have a lot more fuzzy answers in assistants. That's a difficult problem. So lots of new programming patterns. I think that's one thing to watch out for. I think especially relevant for people watching this is retrieval augmented generation, RAG, which I'm sure are going to be featured in a bunch of sessions. And the second lesson definitely would be that this quick iterations, especially if you're doing AI apps, are really important.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Massimiliano. Just to remind everyone, Massimiliano has a session later in the day. Please be sure to tune in. Really exciting stuff. I had a preview. It's great learnings, great lessons for everyone building AI applications all around how do you test, how do you build responsible AI applications. Thank you so much, Massimiliano. So great to have you on the show.
Sure. Thank you.